Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Alrighty, folks, good morning and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations computer company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and coming next month to Des Moines, Iowa as well. I want to welcome all of our listeners on KMBZ in Kansas City as well. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time joining us, hopefully we can educate you, entertain you, and hopefully you learn a little bit of something about your computer that you didn't know before. As you do know, we broadcast the show live on Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. That's facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Due to odd technical malfunctions today, i.e. Thor forgot his laptop power cord. My wife needed to borrow my power cord the other day, so I lent it, and then I forgot to put it back in my bag. My go bag that I have to go to the radio show, put it in the truck so I don't forget it the night before kind of thing. And so I don't have a power cord. So the consequence is the live stream is coming from my phone right now, which is good. I've got a solid battery there. The downside is that you will not be able to hear the callers when they call in. So when you do call into the program, because we give away a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate here at the conclusion of the program, when you call 888-250-2091. But when we give that away, or when we have callers that call in to win that, you won't be able to hear them. So you're going to hear me kind of reiterating the question that the caller is asking, so that way you people watching on the Facebook stream have the opportunity to hear the question as well. Once again, that number to call in is 888-250-2091. All right, so last week we had a pretty crazy show. It was really good. So if you missed it, you can pick that up over at SchrockInnovations.com. It's also available on YouTube. You click on radio over at SchrockInnovations.com and it'll pop right up there for you. But last week we talked about how Microsoft had released 2 surprise updates. They're called out-of-band updates. So these are Windows updates for your computer that you did not expect to get. Things that weren't supposed to happen. So if you did get them, they're already done. But make sure your computer might want to reboot. So if you haven't rebooted recently, make sure that you go ahead and do that, because you're going to want to make sure those updates install properly. Also, last week on the program, we talked about why Apple was ditching Intel for their new Apple processors. They're going to make their own chips. They're going to be similar in their Macs. They're going to be similar to the chips that go into the iPads and the iPhones. I don't think they're going to be the same chip, but they're going to be similar in their design. Also, we covered a pretty crazy story about how Chinese intelligence agencies were spying on Western companies by forcing them to install accounting software to pay local province taxes when they were operating on mainland China, which allowed the intelligence agencies to get a backdoor into the entire network of the business all the way back to the Western country where it was based. So some pretty crazy stuff there as well. Now, coming up on the show today, we got some cool stuff for you. First, how can you win a free Intrepid laptop from Schrock Innovations? This is an absolutely free laptop. No charge, no problems, everything free. We give you a call, you pick it up, you can get it for free. A free $800 laptop. We're going to tell you how to do that. Also, Mac users. We don't have a lot of stories about Mac on the show. We try to, but there's not a lot going on. It's either like, oh, there's a big update, should you install it or not? Or, oh, there's a new Mac coming, should you buy one now or should you wait till later? We do those stories. But last week we had a particularly concerning story about Mac users getting hit for one of the first times by Mac-specific malware. And this was ransomware that would encrypt all your computer, all the drives attached to it. It would delete your backups. It would also install a keylogger to record all of your keystrokes to steal your keychain passwords. I mean, it was an insidious virus. Well, there's some hope, because some of the people that have been hit by this, apparently the people who wrote the virus didn't do a particularly good job of writing it, and researchers were able to find a universal decryption key. So now if you did get hit with this ransomware, we can decrypt your encrypted files without you paying the ransom. So it's a pretty neat thing there, so we're going to tell you about that coming up on the program. And then speaking of China, we have been hearing a lot in the last week about TikToc. And for those of you out there who don't know, TikTok is a social media app that has become very popular with younger people. So it's kind of the new Twitter in a way. Twitter put the live video thing in there, and they're trying to stay relevant. TikTok is short form live video, so it's quick videos. You post them and then you go. So I think the other day, you may have seen Scott Voorhees on the Facebook page for our flagship station KFAB. He caught his daughters making a TikTok video, and he was secretly filming a TikTok video. So it was pretty funny. But TikTok, there's this thing. Everybody, all the government agencies, Amazon, all kinds of places are now telling you to remove TikTok from your phone for security reasons. So we're going to go over what's happening with TikTok and why this is important to keep you safe. Now, I'm reading the comments on Facebook here. I know the camera's a little high. I know that it's reversed. Guys, I'm doing it from a phone. This is how it is. So unfortunately, if I need to be able to see the screen, to see the frame, and I didn't have a setup for a phone, so I left my laptop standing upright, and I'll try to work on it during commercial breaks to find some place to put it that's a little more centered. So I had to do it this way. All right. So anyway, you can watch the show if you want to see what we're talking about here. The horrible camera angle on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. But hey, at least it's live, right? At least we're here. All right. So the first things we want to talk about is how you can win this free laptop, because I know that's what a lot of people are going to be interested in. We did the same thing previously as well. Last year we did a video, a promotion for Best of Omaha, where we gave away a laptop. And what we'd like you to do, I just posted a link to the show notes here as well. If you can, go vote for us in the Best of Omaha competition. We will enter you in the drawing to win this free laptop. Now, when I say you go vote, I guess I don't know if you vote for us or not. I would hope you would. You're trying to win a laptop. I'd hope you would. But you can go vote for anybody you want. You go vote. We can go ahead and get it taken care of on our end to get you in the contest. So this year we're doing it a little bit differently. Last year there was a lot of confusion. People had to go enter, and then they had to send me a certificate, and sometimes I got the certificate and sometimes they didn't, and they were concerned if they were entered or not. So it was a little confusing last time. Then we had extra entries. There were extra things that you could do to earn additional entries in the contest, which was a little confusing on our end, because we had to try to tabulate everybody's activities and then enumerate that and then draw from that. It took a lot of time. Also last year we gave away a Resolute laptop, which was our lower end laptop. This year it's our most popular laptop. It's the Intrepid, by far the one that most people buy when they buy a laptop from Schrock Innovations, because it's right in the middle. It's big and bad enough to be a work computer, but it's not super expensive as well, so it's a very popular machine over in the service centers. But you can win this if you go to our website. Go to SchrockInnovations.com, and there's a banner, a black banner in the middle of the page that says click to vote for us for Best of Omaha. If you click on that banner, it will take you to the page on our website that has all the instructions on what you need to do. Now, we this year, to simplify everything for everybody, we're using an app, a contest app. You put in your email address and your name. It's just so that we can keep track of your entries. You're not adding yourself to a mailing list or a database or anything like that. Well, I guess you are adding yourself to a database, because that's how the web works. But we're not going to use this to market to you or sell it to anybody else or anything like that. We're just going to use it for the purposes of managing the contest. You put in your email address and your name, and then you go complete the tasks. So the first one, the gateway task that you must complete, is you must go vote in Best of Omaha. Once you have done that, you can gain additional entries by sharing. We have a Facebook post about voting for us in Best of Omaha. You can share that post. You can like that post. You can review our service centers. You can review all 4 of them. Now, note I said 4 and not 3. The Des Moines Service Center is launching next month, and we have customers who have done business with us in Des Moines. I did an on-site drop-off on Wednesday for a customer who purchased a new computer from us in Des Moines. So if you're in Des Moines and you want to review the service center on Google, we would very much appreciate that. If you are anywhere else and you can review any of our service centers, because obviously you can call and we're going to give you virtual service, so it doesn't really matter. It used to be important what physical location you went to. It's not so important anymore. But when we launch that Des Moines Service Center, it's going to be really important to us that we have some Google reviews on that page to let other people in the local community in Des Moines know who haven't necessarily heard of Schrock before that we're here and we're a legit company and we're going to take care of you and we do a good job for you. So very much in Des Moines, this is the first time in 11 years we've opened a new service center, guys. So I want to make sure that we hit the ground running there, and Google reviews are one way we can do that. Also, Yelp reviews. I have a love-hate relationship with Yelp. Yelp is kind of the review platform people go to complain. Nobody goes to Yelp to write a positive review of anybody. And the people who do call themselves Yelpers. They have a whole persona. The 99% of the people go to Yelp when something goes wrong. And so you tend to see lower reviews on Yelp. Then the second thing is Yelp has a free version that businesses can use, and then they have the paid version. And you see, when you pay them $400 to $800 a month, they will pay special attention to your positive reviews to ensure that they get published, because they have an aggressive fraud detection campaign, you see. So if you just go write a Yelp review for the first time, your Yelp review may not get posted publicly, because you could be a scammer trying to scam the Yelp review network. So we have over 100 positive reviews on Yelp, but if you look at our Yelp rating, it's like 3 stars. And so, yeah, because they won't publish the ones that are people who just went to Yelp for the first time. That could change in the future, so we decided, we're going to throw it in there anyway. Besides, there may be some Yelpers listening, that want to go review on Yelp. But if you review us on Yelp, that's an additional entry as well. So we give you a lot of different ways you can do it. But the big thing we wanted to do this year, we got some negative feedback from the contest last year where people said, I don't want to have a Facebook page to enter. I don't want to have a Google page or Google account to enter the contest, which you would have to leave a Google review. I don't want to have to make a Yelp account to enter the contest. I don't have a Yelp account. So this time around, what we've done, guys, is we've said entering the contest, the initial entry is just voting in Best of Omaha, but you have to go to that app and you have to put your name and your email in. Otherwise, we have no way to manage you in the contest, okay? So you'll see from the page right now about 247 people have already entered the contest, which that's not real bad odds. I mean, I dare say that that's a little bit better than the lotto. Now we're not giving away a truck either, so it's like one of those things. It is a pretty pricey laptop though, so if you would go enter for that contest, we would very much appreciate your vote in the Best of Omaha competition. We used to do the big the Best of Omaha Festival, the big trade show that they did. They've replaced this thing with the Best of Omaha Soiree, which doesn't make any sense to me. So we have a contest here where we're asking consumers to vote for businesses, and then we have a celebration of the winners that's a business-to-business networking event. That doesn't seem to fit. We really love the trade show, and we're really, you might tell from my comments, I'm very much publicly hoping they bring the trade show back. Who knows what's going to happen in the wonderful COVID world we live in today. 888-250-2091. Go to the Schrock Innovations page, click on the black banner to vote for us in Best of Omaha. You click on Use Your Email and enter your name and your email. You vote for Schrock. You can get up to 8 additional entries in the contest by doing other things, which is cool. Then, once you've done there, you can also review any of the service centers on Google, and that will get you additional entries as well. It's the most popular laptop we sell, the Intrepid laptop. No purchase is necessary to enter. We're not asking you to buy anything. We will not ask you to buy anything related to this contest. You don't have to have Facebook accounts, Google, I'm doing all the legal stuff here. Facebook account, Yelp account, you don't have to have any of those accounts, but you do have to have some of those things if you want the extra entries to get into the contest. You can keep the laptop for yourself if you need a new laptop. A lot of people have purchased new computers from the new work from home normal. Maybe you don't need the laptop, but maybe your church does. You don't need the laptop, but maybe you know a deserving person who could use a new laptop. Maybe it would change someone's life to get something new like that. So if you don't need one yourself, please do enter the contest anyway, because you can give that to somebody else. You can give it to anybody you want, and that would be a great radio thing to do live on the air. Would be to have somebody win and then have them give it to somebody else live on the air. That'd be pretty cool. 888-250-2091. So. One of the other things, guys, just a quick recap. The Des Moines Service Center is going very well. It's moving along nicely. We put together a lot of furniture. I built a lot of tables last week when I was down there. We're getting internet and phones hooked up now. We have quotes back from the sign people. We're getting all the legal permits and everything that we need to have, and sales tax permits and all that stuff to get things going. So everything is moving along really nicely. We're getting everything taken care of. We are on track for an August open. It will not be August 1st, but it will not be the end of August either. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. What we plan on doing, and this is something that we've had a lot of people calling the service centers asking us, hey, when are you going to open Des Moines specifically? Because I want to make sure I don't miss it, because there's going to be some great sales. So if you are interested in coming to the grand opening in Des Moines, if you call us in any of the service centers, and we're open Saturday from 10 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 5. We're open every other day of the week from 10 to 8 as well. But if you give us a call in the service centers, and we're asking for a call just because it's easier for us to keep track, if you give us a call in the service center, any service center, we will take your name and number and add it to our customer database. It doesn't preclude you from getting any sales or anything like that, or your new customer coupon. It doesn't burn that. But basically what it does is we can run a query that says, give me the names of every customer that we have that is within X number of miles of West Des Moines, Iowa. And when we have that, then we can let you know about the soft open. So a soft open is when we think everything is set up and we think it's going to work great, but we have a staff that hasn't actually put the system through its paces yet. So we want to do a soft open where we invite a specific number of people, a smaller number of people, to come into the service center, maybe the week before it opens, just to make sure that everything is going really well. We want it to be our best customers, the people who are most interested, so that if we do make a mistake, they'll be a little more forgiving with us. But we don't expect any kind of issues or anything. But the soft open is always a good idea because you don't want to have a grand opening and then find out you have an issue. Then the week following that, we'll have the grand opening. So it could be a really great way for you to beat the rush, which I know you can't say anything about COVID without ticking somebody off. It's almost like talking about President Trump. You can't say good or bad about him without ticking off half your audience. So here's the thing. There are people who are still concerned about COVID. There are people who are still quarantining in their homes. There are people who refuse to wear a face mask because it's a grand conspiracy or whatever. If you want to come and there's not a lot of people there, do the soft open. Let us know. We'll add you to the database. You can come to the soft open. Of course, when we designed the service center, we were designing it in the middle of COVID. So it was designed for social distancing. The bench spots are spaced out more so than the other service centers. The front room is slightly larger than our other service centers. So there's a little bit of extra room and stuff like that. So make sure you let us know if you want to be in on that soft open. 888-250-2091. We're going to take our first break of the program. But when we come back, we're going to talk to you a little bit about the Mac users who have been impacted by this ransomware infection and how we can help you unlock your encrypted files if you did get hit by this. So we got some good news for you. We're going to let you know all about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations data report.
All right, let's see if we can figure out a better way to mount this thing, okay? Bear with my shaky camera, okay? All right, let's see here. We could go this way, like that. That's a little better. A little bit better angle, right? It's kind of an upward angle. I don't know. How do I look?
Gorgeous.
I can't read. I can't read any of the comments because they're in like 9-point font, and I didn't bring my spectacles in here with me. So I'm going to pull it up on the big screen over here and make sure that I can see what everybody's posting. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Mitch. Thanks for joining us. The audio is excellent, Alan says. That's the Galaxy Note 10 at work. It's got good microphones. All right, let's see. Why don't I see all the comments? Show me the comments. Interesting. All right, well, anyway, I posted a link there for the contest entry, so you can go ahead and take care of that and do that if you'd like to. Oh, there we go. I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I haven't done this on a desktop usually. I have a phone that I do this on. All right. Mary thought we were going to watch you sideways. I wanted my phone to be oriented sideways, and I was like, and it warned me on the screen, warning, rotate your phone, you can't go in landscape mode for live. And I'm like, okay then. So we're not going to go in landscape mode, but it's going to make my video look like this. I don't want it to look like this. I want it to look like this, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess, right? All right. Let's see here. Audio is excellent. There's Mitch. Good to see you, bud. And Paul, good morning. Hi, Mary. Good to have you. All right. There hasn't been any that I have seen. Marianne, what are you talking about? There hasn't been any...
Seconds.
Any what? Oh, any 10 seconds? She hasn't been any 10 seconds? I don't understand. 10 seconds. Shut up, Thor. Alrighty, folks. Welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations computer company. Numbers to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091, and that's what Dale has done. Dale, welcome to the program. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hi.
Hi, Dale.
I got kind of got an echo going here. I got kind of an annoying problem. I have a older freestanding Toshiba laptop running Windows XP Pro.
Oh boy, running XP.
I don't have. I bet it's on the internet for. I can't even remember last night, but I gotta have it because I got older ham radio equipment that I need.
Oh yeah.
Serial ports and software to keep a program. And the new trashy computers out there today can't do that. But anyway, it's got a Bluetooth software that I just love. And so I download everything connected with Bluetooth that I use through this computer. And I downloaded some pictures off my Galaxy S5, and they go to what they call the Bluetooth object push inbox folder. And there's two other folders there, the different Bluetooth things go to. Anyway, I was sorting the pictures out into different albums, and it was getting late. I was tired, so I shut it down. Next morning, I got up and I realized all my thumbnail names were gone for the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
If I would hover the mouse over, they were there, or if I changed the view to any other view, like icons or tiles or details or lists, the names were there. As soon as I went back, the thumbnails, names were gone.
Right.
And that is the only folder that was affected. So I got my pictures out of there. I deleted that folder, shut the computer down, restarted it, let the Bluetooth software recreate the folder, and the problem was still there. So I did a restore to about a month ago where I knew for sure it was working, and that didn't help, and it screwed some other stuff up, so I unrestored it. So do you have any suggestions what might be going on, or
Oh.
that I haven't tried?
All right, so to recap the situation for those watching on Facebook, we have a Toshiba laptop running Windows XP that is used to maintain ham radio equipment that requires older ports that are not available on newer laptops. That's why we can't upgrade. We don't take the thing on the internet, which is good. Then the other side of this, though, is you have a phone that you're connecting to it to download pictures into the laptop over the Bluetooth connection.
Yeah, only to there's no.
No, I know what you meant. Yeah, Well, either way,
Connecting a cable or nothing, so
it'd be a lot faster if you did, and it's safe.
No, I tried it once, and that phone ripped through that laptop and created folders and files, and it took me forever. In fact, I just found another file.
Gotcha. Right, but now your pictures.
I want to have control of what things happen, not the phone take over my computer and do what it wants.
Gotcha. So then you mentioned that the pictures that you transferred from the phone, they used to have thumbnails and now they don't. And so basically there is no inherent picture setting that determines whether it has thumbnails or not. So when you transfer the pictures from your phone, they're either pictures or they're not. And then the computer, Windows XP, is what's generating the thumbnails. Because it's saying it's a JPEG, I can generate a thumbnail. So if the thumbnails are not generating, one of two possible things is happening. Either the pictures that were downloaded from the phone are corrupt and unreadable, and that's easy to test. You double click on them. If they open up and they're a picture, that's not it. If you double click on them and it says it can't open them, then the transfer was corrupted. This does happen a lot over Bluetooth, which is why I would usually recommend that you use a cord. You can hook the phone up to the computer and just use the phone like a flash drive, like a USB flash drive. You don't have to install the software for the phone that is doing the automatic picture transferring that you said you don't want to have happen. You don't have to mess with that. You can just literally hook it up with a cable and use it like a flash drive. But anyway, if the thumbnails are not appearing, it's either a Windows XP issue with the problem with the XP operating system not generating the thumbnails, or it is a problem where the pictures are corrupt. Now, the only thing that pops into my mind immediately that could be a problem that would fix this with Windows XP is when you have the folder open to see the pictures, you can change the view settings. You can tell it view as a list, or view as details, or view as thumbnails. And so if that view command got changed, which there are keyboard shortcuts to change that view command, so you may have accidentally done that. If that view command got changed, that could be doing it. So that would be my advice. Take a look at the view settings, see if you can't figure that out there. 888-250-2091. Thank you for your call, Dale. We have you in the drawing as well for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. And if you want to call in, guys, you can do the same thing and join the program there as well. Now, Mac users, I don't have a whole lot of time before we have to go to the break at the bottom of the hour to do this properly. So if you can hang with me through the break, when we come back, we're going to tell Mac users the good news. Those of you who got hit with this Mac-only ransomware, there is some hope for unlocking these files without paying the ransom, which is awesome. And we're going to tell you all about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also in-house.
All right. So on the one day where I can't have the listeners on Facebook hear the calls, I got the longest call of the year. That was the longest description I've ever had from somebody about a problem. But sorry that you couldn't hear that. I was trying to look entertaining at least because people were coming and going from the feed as we were sitting there, and I was like, let me play with a pen. Nope, your video's not frozen. Frozen. All right, let's see what we got for comments here. You can barely hear the caller. Wow, I'm surprised. Are my headphones up that loud? You shouldn't have been able to hear the caller at all. Maybe that's what we'll do next time. Maybe I'll take a set of these headphones here, turn it up, and just set it right here, and maybe you can hear the caller that way. We'll see if that works. Alrighty. Yeah, so you're not supposed to be able to hear the caller at all, Mary. Alright. So while we're sitting here waiting for the commercial break and the news at the bottom of the hour, if you guys could take a moment to go and vote in the Best of Omaha competition. If you don't want to go hunting for the link, this is the link that you can click on to vote for us. There are also other actions that you can take. And I can tell you with certainty that you'll go to this page and you'll see that as of yesterday there was about 237 people, I think, or 247, something like that, people that were registered, that were entered in the contest, or that was the number of entries in the contest. So one person can have 9 entries, right? So when you see 247 entries, that doesn't mean 247 people. It could be a lot less than that. Also, I'm noticing this page is taking a little bit of time to load when I'm loading it here. Sit with us. It's caching the page. Because it's a new page on the website, it gets cached. It gets saved to the local computer the first time you go there. Subsequent visits will be a lot faster. This is taking a long time to cache, though. Like a really long time. I'm going to do a refresh here real quick, because it shouldn't take that long. There we go. That's much better. So anyway, when you enter the contest, you can make sure you capitalize on those additional entry opportunities, because that's what's going to give you the best chance of winning. And like I said, the total number of entries is not the total number of people. The two are different. So right now we're up to 280 entries. It says there are 3 days left, and that is not correct. The contest does go until the end of the month. I emailed Kara to let her know that there was something funky going on that said there's only 3 days left in the contest. This is a new plugin that we haven't used before for contesting, so we're going to go ahead and correct that as well. For those of you later in the program here, guys, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Des Moines Service Center, and the sales and special offers that we're going to have in Des Moines for the launch of the store. The sales and special offers are only going to be available at the Des Moines Service Center. A lot of the sales and special offers that we're going to be doing in Des Moines are sales and special offers that we have already done this year in the other service centers. So it's not like, you're going to totally miss out. But we are going to do one thing that is going to be specifically geo-targeted to our Des Moines audience. A lot of people are working from home right now. A lot of people are revamping their home offices and doing the Zoom calls and the whole bit. We're going to give away an ultimate home office Zoom computer, venture computer, all the bells and whistles, monitors, 2 monitors, a camera, the whole bit. That's going to be a contest on our website, and when it pops on there, it's not up yet. But when it comes up, I'll let you know it's there. We're going to be geo-targeting our Facebook campaign to Des Moines to enter that, but you guys can enter that too. Because why not? Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock, and I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Number to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091. Want to welcome all of our new listeners on KMBZ 98.1 in Kansas City. We appreciate you joining us and hanging out with us here. If you're new to the program, stay tuned. Hopefully we teach a little bit. Hopefully we have a little bit of fun chit-chatting about stuff. You can also watch the program live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Please do, if you're watching on Facebook, please do click share, click like and click share. Because sharing the program with your friends and family, one of the things we're doing when we go into the Des Moines market is we're talking about, learning more about our customers and what other things, what their interests are, stuff like that. And we're doing a lot of database research and stuff like that. And I was like, let me make some predictions. Because we advertise, pretty much on talk radio, they're going to skew more right than left. They're going to skew more older than younger. They're going to, it's like we can make some general assumptions about these things, right? I don't need to spend a bunch of money to tell you this, consultants. But when you share the program, that's really how we get outside of that talk radio demographic. We don't do a whole lot of additional advertising. It's one of the reasons that we have not had a price increase on any of our products since 2008. I was driving past a gas station this morning. I noticed that unleaded was $1.99 a gallon. And then I thought to myself, when I was in high school, so 1995, it was 99 cents a gallon. So 30 years ago, it was 99 cents a gallon. It was half of what it is now. So that means I can assume 30 years from now, it's going to be $4 a gallon. We can assume that the price of everything 30 years from now will be pretty much double what it is today, right? And of course, there's no inflation or anything. Cost of living adjustment's not required. But it's going to be more expensive in the future, right? And, 2008 was the last time we raised our hourly labor rate. And so it's one of those things that we revisit. We're like, should we increase the hourly labor rate a little bit? And, we decided no, because, number one, our industry is a little more hourly rate competitive. You can find Joe Blow on Craigslist to come fix your computer for $50 if you want. And he'll come to your house and fix your computer for $50. So it's tempting, right? It's not the best plan, but it's tempting. So, we can't raise our rates too much. So we're going to keep them steady, but it's just one of those things, guys, to keep an eye on that. Because as we look at, other markets and things, I don't want to fall into the trap that, I don't want to fall into the trap of, what Best Buy has, for example, where they have to charge New York rates in Omaha. Do you know that a maintenance checkup costs $150 at Best Buy? And it's $90 at Schrock. And we do more. Do you know that we recycle your computer equipment for free? Aside from monitors, there's a $15 charge for monitors. Best Buy has a flat rate charge for recycling anything now. So, we do a lot of things still the way they were done before, at the prices that we have always done them at. And suddenly now we're a high service provider that also happens, we're not a low cost leader, because then we'd be Joe Blow for $50 coming into your house. But we're not a high-cost leader either. We're not the most expensive place in town to go to, but we try to offer the best service in town. So one of the ways that we can keep our costs down is for you to share the program. Help us spread that word of mouth a little bit faster. Word of mouth is an amazing marketing tool. You can live by word of mouth, or you can die by word of mouth. But you will live or die very slowly. So word of mouth is not a fast way to spread the word, but having social media does help. 888-250-2091. So Mac users, if you have a Mac, think like a MacBook or an iMac, there was a particular piece of ransomware we told you about last week that was attacking only Mac users. It was infecting Macs. It would take a couple weeks before you noticed it was there, as it worked in the background to encrypt all of your hard drives, including the externals and flash drives that you hook up to the computer. It also deleted your time machine backups so you couldn't restore something from the past. And then while it was doing all this in the meantime, it was also logging every keystroke that you made on the computer, so that as you type your passwords from your keychain in, it was recording them. And then, if that wasn't enough, there was also a full control element where the bad guys could literally take, if they found a target computer that was a particularly rich target, like a law firm or something that would have files in there that people would be really concerned about, they could take direct control over that computer and do whatever they needed to do with it. So basically, researchers have been looking into this ransomware, and they have now found that whoever designed it was an idiot. That's putting it gently, and they screwed up. And so basically, there's a good news, bad news situation here. The good news is that they screwed up the encryption algorithm. Therefore, if you don't pay the ransom, you can still get your stuff decrypted. They've created a free tool to decrypt your encrypted files. You can try to do it at home, or we can do it in the service center for you. It's technically considered a data recovery, but we can do that in the service center for you. And this happens as time goes on, as ransomware attacks get older and the rings get rolled up and the servers get confiscated. They find the universal decryption keys and they publish them. Now, it usually doesn't happen this quickly. This was the result of a researcher saying, "Oh, look at that! Very likely that this ring of Mac user or Mac malware people are going to improve their software over time. They're going to realize their mistake, they're going to fix it, and there's going to be a new iteration of this software." It was called the ThiefQuest software. So if you got encrypted by ThiefQuest, the bad news is that if you paid the ransom, there was no decryption tool. There was no monitoring. You just literally sent Bitcoin down a black hole and got nothing. So if I've described you can now get a free universal decryption tool to get these files back, so that you can make sure that your computer is usable at this point again. You also would definitely want to remove the virus, however, because it is still key logging. Macs do get viruses. This is something that when Vista was out, we've talked about this before. When Vista came out, Apple ran the PC has a cold commercial. Are you not feeling well, PC? I think I had the Rona. I'm a Mac. I don't get colds. That's not true anymore. It wasn't true then, but it's not true now for sure. Macs get infected just as often as PCs, and in fact, they're worth more to bad guys because Mac users tend to stay infected because they believe they are impervious to infection, so they don't ever scan their computer. So they're actually worth, I think, 50 cents a head on the black market compared to a PC user that's literally a penny a piece or less. Mac users are incredibly valuable on the black market because they stay infected. So make sure that you're running good antivirus on your computer. When we come up later on the show, some of you have asked questions. Some of you have heard about this. Symantec and Broadcom and Norton LifeLock. There was a huge business transaction that's happened there, and Symantec literally sliced and diced everything up. Some of you have asked, how is that going to impact your security? And the short answer is, until November, it's not impacting your security. But here we are in July. November doesn't seem so far off now. So there is a couple things we're going to talk about here about what's happening with that and some of the things that we're looking at Schrock. But when we see stories like this about ransomware just running roughshod over Mac users, and we see things like in my email inbox, my staff is pretty smart. They see email. I got an email that said that it was from the Schrock Innovations outsource HR department. We have like 17 HR departments now, by the way, because everybody's working from home. And apparently there was some kind of a payment that needed to be made for somebody's health insurance, and therefore we should send a payment immediately to the following address, : and here's the amount to send. Thank you, Schrock Innovations, outsource HR department. I'm looking at this like, well, we don't have an outsource HR department. The next email was from the Schrock Innovations legal department. Literally it goes on and on and on. The Schrock Innovations management department, the Schrock Innovations middle management department. They're literally, these scammers are sending out emails because they know a lot of people are working from home and that people are working in roles that they are not used to working in. And there's a lot of outsourcing happening because people are getting laid off. So all these things are coming together to form unique opportunities for bad guys to either steal money, like these emails were intended to steal money from Schrock, or opportunities for bad guys to get you to click a link in an email, because that's all you have to do to infect your computer with ransomware. It's bad. And so one of the things I told my guys, we actually are upgrading all the firewalls in all of our Schrock Innovations locations, because my staff is pretty smart. I've never really had to worry about this before, because my staff can look at that email and say, that's a scam, that's stupid. Customers call us all day long, is this a real email? Nope, that one's not a real email. You can just delete it. We just know by looking at them now. But what about our new people we're hiring for Des Moines? What about that brief period of time where they're just new enough that they don't really know how things work at Schrock yet? Do I want to count on that? I can't. So now we're upgrading all the firewalls in the service centers. And so there's some security things that we're looking at. Ransomware is becoming a really, really significant threat. And I believe it's something that we need to do something about that's a little more proactive than just assuming that Symantec Endpoint's going to take care of it by preventing it from installing on your computer. It does for the vast majority of people, but vast majority doesn't necessarily mean everybody, and we want to have everybody protected. 888-250-2091. Quick reminder to vote for us in the Best of Omaha competition. If you want to win a free Intrepid laptop, you can do so. All you have to do is go to SchrockInnovations.com, and there's a banner, a black banner in the middle of the page. You click on that, it says Vote for Us in Best of Omaha, and it takes you to the page that walks you through the whole entry process. You put in your name and your email, and then you complete tasks to receive entries in the contest. The more tasks that you complete, the more entries you receive. As of right now, we have 280 entries. Each person can have up to 9 total entries. So as you can see, there could only be a few dozen people that have entered the contest so far. There's probably more than that. Now we're up to 292. There's probably more than that. It does say on the page there's only 3 days left to do it. That's not true. So this goes through the end of the month, through the end of voting. But we'll let you know when we're going to get that corrected. We'll let you know when the contest is going to end. But it's a great way to win a totally free laptop. Maybe you don't need a laptop, but you probably know somebody who could really use one. You're welcome to give it to anybody that you choose. 888-250-2091. Now, of course, we're behind schedule. So when we come back from the break, we have a lot to cover. We are going to tell you exactly what's going on with TikTok. This is getting to be a big deal. If you haven't heard the stories about TikTok, a lot of companies are telling people to remove the social media app from their device because it's not safe for work. We're going to tell you why, and we're also going to give you an update on the whole Symantec Endpoint situation. So if you are a subscriber to Symantec Endpoint, if you have Endpoint through Schrock, this is definitely a segment that you want to hear because this information is going to impact you. And we're going to tell you what's going on at Schrock coming up next on Compute This. All right, let's jump back into some comments here. All right, looking for a new laptop is Schrock the best place to get one? I believe so, Mark. I mean, I don't know any place better. I would not buy a laptop from anybody else but Schrock Innovations, myself, personally. Personally, I would, just me, you know. Yeah, all right. Well, thank you, Charles. Adapt, improvise, overcome. You know, if this is the biggest hardship, if this phone situation is the biggest hardship of my day today, I'm going to count that as a win, you know? All right. Had to get a new phone. Old phone had Endpoint. Need it transferred to the new phone. What do I do? Mitch, I think I saw you. I responded to you yesterday on Messenger. We got to have you call the service center because we have to have the phone in the service center to install the Endpoint on it. So you have to actually physically bring the phone in for this. Sorry about that. There isn't a way for us to remote into the phones. It's a nightmare. But really do Endpoint users listen to this next segment. We're going to be making a change. We're going to be moving away from Endpoint. I'm going to talk about it a little differently on the air, but Yeah, they're behind the scenes. The Broadcom team that purchased Endpoint has been radio silent since coronavirus hit. And November is coming up. We don't know what's going to happen with our customers and their security in November. There's nothing wrong with Endpoint. It's working exactly like it always did. But our fear is if these guys don't get their rear ends in gear, we're going to end up in November with a bunch of people whose Endpoint doesn't work, and we won't know what to do. And so we looked around to see what other options there were, and we found something that was phenomenal. Something that we didn't know existed, something that ties in with the firewalls that we're installing in the service centers. It, like, all the puzzle pieces came together, and all kinds of great options. So we're going to tell you about that here coming up on the next segment, so stay tuned for that one. This microphone. Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations computer company, service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and coming next month to Des Moines, Iowa, West Des Moines. We're going to be at 9500 University Avenue. 9500 University Avenue, Suite 2104. Our name is on the front door now. Our sign will be going up soon, so you can stop by. Usually I shouldn't say this. Usually I go down to work in the service center on Wednesdays. So if you're in the neighborhood and you want to pop in and say hi, you can. But I do need to get some work done, so don't stay long. Love to see you. Gotta go. Number to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091, TikToc. All right, what is TikTok? TikTok is a short-form video service that basically allows you to share videos with friends, family members. It's social networking with video. Okay, it's very popular. You might imagine TikTok has been in the news recently, and again, here we go. Got to use the T word. Oh boy, it ain't Thor either. The Trump rally in Tulsa. They said, we have 1 million people signed up. It's going to be a huge rally. It's going to be huge. And then not 1 million people showed up. A lot less than 1 million people showed up. A lot less than capacity showed up. And TikTok users, you could reserve tickets through TikTok because the campaigns are using all the social media platforms. The challenge we have here is that TikTok is a Chinese-owned social media company. It is owned by a company in China. TikTok was not designed to be used in China. It is technically illegal in China, the way that it works. They have a separate service in China that they run, a separate company or social media platform that is TikTok-like, that is run in China, but allows the communist government there to find and arrest people who say things they don't like. There's just no way to couch it anymore. That's exactly what's happening. As a result, TikTok is leaving the Hong Kong market because TikTok is not compatible with the security laws that are being passed to allow China to control Hong Kong. Now, normally you'd say, what China doesn't like is something that we should probably run to, right? That's probably a freedom thing. That'd be good. We can say what we want on TikTok. The problem is it's owned by a Chinese company, which means their data is saved in mainland China, which means that the Chinese government, no matter how far TikTok tries to distance itself from China, even they're talking now about maybe moving their headquarters out of mainland China somewhere else, it doesn't matter. The companies are all owned by people. If they're publicly traded, they're owned by a lot of people. But they have majority owners. Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook, but a lot of other people, I own a piece of Facebook. You might own a piece of Facebook. A lot of people own Facebook, but Mark Zuckerberg, he owns Facebook. You want to control Facebook, you control him. Chinese companies are no different. If Jack Dorsey owns Twitter. If you want to complain about Twitter censorship, open letter to Jack Dorsey. There you go. He's the one that can do something about it. He's the guy that if he goes away, Twitter has a big problem. If Mark Zuckerberg goes away, Facebook has a big problem. TikTok is no different. So the problem here is you have a Chinese company that is storing all this information. It has apps, the TikTok app loaded on millions of phones and devices. Some of those phones and devices are in the hands of people who work for the government. Some of those phones and devices might have government data on them or other sensitive corporate information. Therefore, It's a security risk to allow China, who we just documented last week, was making Western companies pay their taxes with a program that purposefully downloaded malware into the computer to monitor all the financial activity of the Western company. If you know who the Western companies are paying money to, you can control the Western companies. It's the same thing. It's a security risk. It's just like Huawei providing all the 5G equipment for the world. Huge security risk. Huawei is basically an intelligence arm for China, whether they want to be or not. Forget motivation. We're not dealing with motivation. We're not dealing with how we want the world to be. We're dealing with how the world is. And China is a communist government that can do whatever it wants. It can pass a law. It can break a law. It doesn't matter. The current law in China is that China can demand anything from any company in China. So they can. So Amazon tells everybody, remove TikTok apps from your phone. It's not safe. Then they walk it back. I don't know why they walked it back, but they did. Government employees cannot have TikTok on any government-issued device. And people who work for the government are encouraged on their personal devices, if they use them in a work environment or keep them in a work environment, like if you bring your cell phone to your work desk, they're encouraging you to remove TikTok from your phone as well. Not because TikTok has shown they've done anything wrong, not because TikTok is like a successful China, the first successful overseas company to enter an international social media competition and successfully. That's huge stuff, right? But they're from a communist country. It's different. It's fundamentally different. These things matter. These are real distinctions. I know a lot of people don't want to believe that there are no real distinctions in the world anymore. Anything can be anything. Everything is everything. Black is white. White is black. Up is down. Down is up. It doesn't matter. But this matters. And that's why everyone is saying remove TikTok from your phones. I don't have TikTok installed on any of my devices. And it was a tough decision because a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, when we're moving into a new market, we reach a lot of people who are people who listen to talk radio. They have a certain trend demographic. That means what I discussed with my media companies, we're ignoring the other half of the market that doesn't do that. There are people who don't even know a presidential election is coming up. Those people spend money on computers too. We need to reach them. Well, TikTok would be a great way to reach them. But we just can't. I can't. I won't. Do I have any state secrets? Am I a CIA covert employee? No, I don't. No one's interested in anything on my phone. I have nothing interesting on my phone. Even my pictures are bad, right? I don't even have any interesting pictures. Like, is that a VIN number? Like, why are you taking pictures of a VIN number? I had to give it to the insurance guy. I didn't want to have to read it off the dashboard. I took a picture of it and then read it off my phone screen. I can zoom in. Classic stuff. But on the other hand, I don't need to have a Chinese communist government creeping through my phone either. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. Dan, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Well, I really had a shout out for the Affiliate Service Center.
Okay, so well, thank you. What happened over in Papillion?
Well, I took my old desktop in with a hard drive, and the idea was to clone that over to a solid-state drive and speed up the computer.
Right.
But when I went in to pick it up, Ryan says, your problem is not your hard drive, it's your central processing unit that's slowing things down. And that's eventually going to fail. He said, I can do exactly what you want me to do, but you're not going to get the response you want. And that right there, Thor, is the greatest customer service in the world.
Thank you.
He did not do what I said. He gave me the option. Okay?
Yep.
That's great. And, he ended up selling me another computer. It went downhill a little bit from there because he transferred data. Well, he transferred data files, but not program files.
Okay, and that's something I'm going to mention this on the air with everybody else. So for those of you who are on Facebook that may not have heard this, Dan came in, and I remember seeing this one on the bench. Actually, Ryan told me about it. He wanted to have a solid-state hard drive installed to speed up the computer. We cloned everything over, and after the clone, the computer was no faster. And so Ryan was like, I can't sell this to this guy. This isn't, he's going to come back unhappy, and then we're going to tell him he needs a new processor, and then you may as well buy a new computer at that point. So when we sold him a new computer, but then when we do the data transfer is exactly that. It is a data transfer. We can't transfer programs. There is no way to do it. So because when you install a program, first of all, it shotguns files and registry entries and all kinds of stuff through the computer. But mainly the reason is that programs, when you install them, you have a license to use that program on a computer. You don't have the license to transfer that program from computer to computer in the future. And so you have to reinstall it from the original media. Now, we'll do that as part of the maintenance checkup for you, but we have to have the original installation media. So I'm sorry for the confusion on that. Sometimes when the guys talk about data transfers, they say, oh yeah, we can move everything over, and they don't realize that everything means something different to you than it means to them.
Well, what it's going to force me to do is upgrade some of my software, and that's probably a good thing, too.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call, Dan. I appreciate you taking the time to reach out and say thanks, and you always love hearing good news, too, guys. All right. So, wrapping up the program here, got about a minute and a half or so left. One of the things that we have recommended for years is Semantic Endpoint. Semantic Endpoint is the software that keeps your computer safe. It makes sure that everything works the way you want it to work and you don't get hit by the bad guys. Semantic sold their company to Broadcom. Or Semantic sold not their company, but the corporate antivirus product to a company called Broadcom. They did not sell any of the management software that manages all of your licenses to Broadcom. That went to the new company Norton LifeLock they brought Norton 360 back from the graveyard of 2015 and are selling it as super awesome protection. Better than a poke in the eye, not super awesome. So we are looking at a new potential software offering called Sophos that specifically has in-depth ransomware protection. If you get hit, we can go back and find out exactly how it got in. Great for businesses. All kinds of other options. Stay tuned for the After Schrock. We'll tell you all about it here after the show on Facebook. Dale, congratulations. You've got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. See you all next week. All right. So one of the cool things, guys, is because we don't have to switcheroo on the audio inputs, I can just keep going for the Facebook Live. So, welcome to the After Schrock. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to have people that are looking at the Facebook feed and they're like, was there not an After Schrock this week? We're like, yep, you got to watch the whole show first, and then you can watch the After Schrock. The After Schrock is only for hardcore Schrock Innovations viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, so here's what's going on. The endpoint software, we have been since April trying to figure out what the plan is for Broadcom to allow us to manage your licenses. So your protection is fine because nothing changed. Symantec sold their corporate security division to Broadcom. Broadcom makes a lot of the comms chips in your laptops and desktops, so the Wi-Fi cards, Bluetooth chips. They also have an entire managed service offering. They do everything. So the only piece they were missing was a security piece. And if you're going to buy a security thing, why not buy the best one that exists, right? So they bought it. And they did not, as part of that transaction, buy the management portal that we use to assign the license to your computer, to monitor the status of your antivirus, to see if your antivirus is working properly, to see if there's something we need to call you about. All the alerts, the automation, all of the API calls that allow when you call in and say, when does my subscription expire? All that information is pulled in from that portal. And so we're talking about a massive redesign here that's happening on Broadcom's part. But Broadcom said, don't worry about it. We bought the thing in January. We should have the whole new thing up and running by April. Well, lots of companies had plans for that period, January through April. And lots of companies ended up doing the Corona thing instead. So they're all working from home. They're all doing their thing. And so, we're trying to give a little grace here, right? And we're trying to be patient. So we didn't freak out when April came and went and we didn't have a solution. We kept on trucking. Then, thank you. I feel like I'm shouting. That's all right. I know you got to keep it up for what you do. So then, here we are now in July. And, July is going to come and go here. We're going to be opening a service center in August. That's not the time to do a big migration. So that means we're in September. September is perilously close to November. So we buy our semantic endpoint licenses through Ingram Micro. That's the company that manages the license sale for us. So we buy them from Ingram Micro. Semantic provides the licenses, and then we sell them to you. So we call Ingram Micro and we say, listen, you guys are sending us bills that are incorrect. You guys are saying, okay, we know the bill is incorrect, but don't worry about paying it until we figure out if it's correct or not. But you've been saying that since January. And we have this massive outstanding balance with you right now. And we're honestly a little freaked out because, this is a big chunk of change. And so we need to know what's happening here. So I email our contact back. His name is Matthew over at Ingram Micro. Hey, any word on what's going on with Broadcom and their management portal? They contacted us saying, okay, establish your Broadcom account. We did. Link it to your current Semantic account. We did. Wait, the migration will happen automatically. We did. It's been 2 months. Nothing has happened. Nobody knows what to do. We are completely clueless on what they tell us not to use the Semantic portal and for anything anymore. Technically, we haven't been able to provision new endpoint licenses since January. Luckily, we just had so many licenses. We bought a bunch, and we had a lot of extras. So we have been able to continue giving you licenses for endpoint and renewing your subscriptions and things because we had that many licenses sitting in the closet. We can't buy them anymore. So we're paying for ongoing freight for the people who are using the service. But Semantic doesn't care because they're not going to get the money. And Broadcom doesn't care because they have no idea how many licenses we're using because they haven't imported it into their portal yet. The only person who seems to be billing us is Ingram Micro, but they're telling us not to pay. This whole situation has me a little freaked out. So I want to let you guys know your computers are still perfectly safe. I run Semantic Endpoint on my computer. I feel perfectly safe. My wife runs it on her computer. She is perfectly safe. All of our computers in the service centers, they are perfectly safe. But when I contacted my guy at Ingram, he said, oh, Thor, hey, I got promoted to a new division. And then he said, run. Run from this. Couldn't say that before. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? Run from this? What do you mean? Because Thor, nobody knows what's going on. Broadcom's not talking to anybody. You know more than we do. We didn't even know they sent an email out. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So Brian and Nikki and I started taking a look at, all right, so let's make a contingency plan, right? We got to have a plan in case something goes wrong with Endpoint with Broadcom. What are we going to do? So we look at all the different options out there, and AVG or Avast are like, yes, please, pick us. We'll sell you a bajillion licenses super duper cheap. Never mind that they won't work. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll make a lot of money. It'll be great. Yes, making money is important to a business. We do have to do that to keep the lights on, put food in our kids' mouths and stuff. But making money is not the number one most important thing. With Endpoint, we had a product for the better part of a decade that nobody got infected. It stopped me from getting infected several times for things that even I would have done, links I would have clicked on, that I clicked on and it was like, don't do that. And I was like, oh wow, that was almost dangerous, right? So we need something that's going to outperform that. Does it even exist? The answer is, at the price we were paying, no, it doesn't exist. But if we're willing to double the price that we pay, we can get something better. There is one thing better that exists. And so we said, because we looked at our price points and we said, there's nothing. We literally have the best there is. And then Brian's like, let me check the other price points and see if we can find something that's a little bit more. But you double our cost, and all of a sudden we have this big new monster of an option called Sophos. Now, Sophos is... it's been around for a while. A lot of organizations, a lot of universities use Sophos. But they have really done a good job in the managed service provider or MSP area, and that's the area that your endpoint is in. The Secure Updater is an MSP. Drive Advisor is an MSP. So basically all these things together form our MSP suite. So one of the things that really attracted us to Sophos is they have the Sophos Basic, which doesn't do as much as Endpoint does, but is the same cost as Endpoint. And I'm like, I'm not going to get on the radio and tell my customers that, hey, we have this great option for you, and it does less than what you have now, and it costs the same. Isn't that amazing? That's the way the world is going right now. You get, look at the cereal box. Come on, look at the chips. There's a lot of air in that bag. It's for padding, padding the price, maybe. No, but sorry, tangent. But if we're going to do this, I told my guys, if we're going to do this, if we're going to think about making the move away from Endpoint, you have to give me something that is going to be a positive, big, good reason that I can tell my listeners, you need to do this because this is better. So what is it? So Sophos has all the same, this version of Sophos, they have different tiers, right? And this is the top tier. There are different tiers, and this tier has all the options that Endpoint has, but it also has an incredibly robust ransomware detection engine. If it detects a bunch of stuff on your computer getting encrypted, it stops whatever's doing it. If you try to interact with a known ransomware infection, it stops you from doing it. The other thing is from a business perspective, our corporate clients are going to really love this because the corporate component of it allows us to track a ransomware infection to the point it entered your network. So not only will it keep you safe, but if a brand new ransomware infection hits and it happens to do something completely different than the behavior of any other ransomware infection, and it happens to get into your computer, I will be able to tell you what computer on your network it came in on, what user was logged into the computer when it came in, what they did to get infected. I will be able to trace it back to a specific point of entry in real time, which I know doesn't give you a lot of comfort once you're already infected. But if you were in a corporate environment, or maybe you have kids and you want to figure out how did this get into the network, what do we need to do to keep the family safe in the future going forward, how do we teach so that we prevent this from happening again? If I can look en masse at our customers and see the actions that they're taking, and it's not just ransomware, this is for any virus, I can see how they get into your computer now. If I can see that on a mass scale, I can get on the radio and say, hey, I've noticed that there's an email going around, guys, that's telling people it's from the Schrock Innovations outsourced human resource department. It has a link in that. Don't click the link. People are clicking the link. Don't do it. If I can do that, I can really change virus protection to a proactive educational component, which is really nice. Some other things. Our endpoint is currently configured so that you can disable it. You can turn off the firewall, you can turn off the protection. It asks you how long. You can select anywhere from 15 minutes all the way through to upon restart. Originally, when we rolled out endpoint, you could not do that. We did not allow you to turn it on and off. For obvious reasons, right? How many people have seen the pop-up that comes up and it's like, to continue installing this video player, please disable your antivirus. And there's somebody out there that's like, okay, and they disable it. I can't keep you safe from yourself, Well, so we locked everybody out from doing that. Well, then we got calls from people on our corporate clients that are like, listen, we're trying to install scanning software for this brand new multifunction massive printer that we have. It's not a virus, it's not malware, we're not doing something stupid, but we have to disable the antivirus, and we can't disable it. And we were not able to disable it either. It was on, and the only way to get rid of it was to uninstall endpoint, do what you had to do, and then reinstall endpoint, which is obviously a pain in the butt. So for those one-off incidents, we actually had to re-enable the ability for everybody, to be able to turn it off at will. Okay, that's a problem. So Sophos actually has a solution to that problem. So you cannot turn off your Sophos internet protection. But if you need to turn it off, like in the scenario I just gave you, you can call the service center and we can click on a button to generate a one-time code that you can enter on your end into your Sophos software that will disable it for an hour. So it requires you to stop what you're doing and call somebody who knows what they're doing. And when you say, yeah, I'm trying to install this video player, I want to play a video on the internet, and I won't really tell you what the video is or why I need to play it. But I kind of want to play this video. I think it'd be really interesting or fun. So yeah, will you help me install the DivX player so I can play this? The DivX player installs with antivirus software just fine. Are you sure you're installing the DivX player? Well, it says DivX player. Okay, let's take a look. Let's get on a Schrock desk for free and help you get through this, okay? And if we need to disable it, we can disable it. The other thing is I mentioned that we're installing brand new hardware firewalls in all of our service centers. There's a huge, one of the things I've been talking about, MSPs, managed service providers. One of the biggest trends in online attacks is attacking the MSP. So if somebody attacks a managed service provider that has thousands of clients, you could only imagine how gaining access to all those clients would allow the ransomware people to infect so many people. So we have an obligation to make sure that our infrastructure is very, very secure as a managed service provider. We already have protections in place for the Schrock desk and everything like that. This is next level stuff. So this is a firewall, a brand new firewall that actually has a subscription attached to it that we can fill through Sophos. So we can use the Sophos, the same Sophos software that you're using to protect your computer to protect our entire network from the firewall, which is an option that Semantic Endpoint does not offer at the price point we're at, or at any price point that I'm aware of, for businesses where you can integrate into a firewall and protect the entire business network from a firewall. I got an attorney, I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago the email that I got from my attorney about how there was a legal matter that was wrapped up in 2015, and I got this email like, I made this proposal for you, this presentation, and click here to open it. And people would open the presentation, I'm sure, but I'm sitting here thinking, why would my attorney email me a presentation from 2015 on a matter that was closed in 2016? The email addresses were all right, the content was accurate. It just didn't seem right, so I didn't open it. And sure enough, I sent an email over to the law firm and said, hey guys, somebody got compromised. And I'm pretty sure my InfoSec is airtight. So yeah, you got a problem. And I didn't hear anything back. I sent emails before and after that about the Des Moines opening. I heard back on all those. That one I didn't hear anything back on, which might be telling. So if you're a law firm, if you're a dentist, if you're a doctor, if you are a service provider of any kind, and you do not have a hardware firewall at this point, it is only a matter of time until you get destroyed. We've had clients that got hit by this because they didn't want that level of protection. They didn't want to pay for it. And they get hit, and then they say, why did we get hit when we have you providing everything? It's because you didn't want what we were providing. Well, you didn't tell me about that. Well, the last 20 things we told you you needed, you said you didn't want. After a while, even the sales gal stops calling, It's like, come on. So anyway, this is one of the things we're going to test this system out in the Omaha Service Center, and if it's good, we are going to then offer. This is not a residential system, guys. This is something that's like the piece of hardware is like $1,200, and then the subscription is like multi-$100 a year. But it protects the entire network, and if it goes well in Omaha, we don't necessarily need this level of protection in all of our service centers because all of our sensitive information is stored on a server that's protected behind multiple firewalls. So each service center itself doesn't really have a whole lot of concern. But imagine a nightmare scenario where on the 4th of July, for example, we get attacked. And they break into one of the service centers digitally, and they drop a ransomware infection on one of the computers. Any computer. Let's say we brought in, let me make this easier. People bring computers to us because they're sick. So we put the sick computer on our bench, and that computer maybe has a ransomware infection. They brought it in, end of the day on July 3rd. Some technician, new guy, new junior tech in Des Moines maybe, hooks it up on the bench, plugs it in, says, I'm going to start the downloads over the weekend, whatever, and then I'll come back Monday and they'll be done. It's on the network now. All weekend long, it's spreading from computer to computer to computer. And we come in Monday, and the entire bench is encrypted. and they're all different encryptions, and each one is like $3,000 to decrypt. That has not happened to us. I know of computer repair companies it has happened to. It's darn near a company ender. When you're in the business of securing people's computers and you let something like that happen, it's bad news. So we can't let stuff like that happen. So we're going to spend the money on the firewalls to put them in every service center. We're going to test it in Omaha, and if it works well there, we're going to lever it out to every service center, because the protection is something, we can't sit here on the radio and preach to you guys about keeping protected. There are people watching this broadcast right now that do not have Semantic Endpoint. They've got McAfee or Norton LifeLock or some other substandard piece of software running their security on the computer. And, I've never been infected before. There are people watching right now that probably are not running anything and said, I've never been infected. That's true. It's possible. We can also infect your computer by opening a picture now. A picture. Just opening it on a web page can infect your computer. So loading a web page, not even doing anything, not even clicking a link. So it's getting to be a real scary world we live in, and my gosh, guys, the world's only going to get scarier. The whole world is nuts right now. We haven't done a Rona update in a while here. I've stopped talking about it a little bit because, like presidential politics, you can't talk about coronavirus without ticking somebody off. Should teachers come back to school or not? Are they going to die or not? Or are we going to kill little people or not? I mean, should you wear a mask or not? Are people who wear masks all Democrats? Are they all liberals? Are they all crazy? Or are people who don't wear masks all deniers, science deniers that are, right-wing nut jobs? As always, the truth is somewhere in the middle. If I go to, my wife needed to go shopping, so we were at Village Point. We were going to go into Soma to buy something. And we go to the door and they say, sorry, we're at capacity. It'll be 15 minutes or so before you can come into the store, and you do have to wear a mask. It's 95 degrees outside, and the sun is beaten down, and there's no shade. They didn't put like a little shade tent up or anything, but no, they're going to make their customers stand outside. Sorry, we're not going to stand outside for 15 minutes in 95-degree heat to come into your store to peruse your line of goods. And no, we're not going to make an appointment to come shop. We don't even know what we're shopping for. And if I want to just browse, I'll just do it online, whatever, fine. But then you go to Shields, right? Shields, slightly different demographic. Not a single person, not a single employee in Shields was wearing a mask. So you have this wide range of differences in opinion, right? Then you hear news stories like, you think, no, maybe the mask thing, maybe we should all be wearing masks, because it sounds like it's getting pretty serious. You listen to the media coverage, right? And it is. The infection rate is way up. The death rate is not up. I mean, the death percentage continues to drop because people don't die from COVID. Unless you have other pre-existing conditions that are weakening you. Like my dad got notified yesterday. He went to the dentist to have a bridge worked on. They notified him yesterday that he was exposed while he was at the dentist to somebody who was known to have COVID. My dad has a heart condition. He is overweight, and he's over 70. Yeah. Now, why is it that coronavirus tends to attack people that are older more? We have customers that come into the service centers that don't wear masks. They don't seem concerned at all. And one woman told us she's seen this movie before. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. So why is it? Well, they put a bunch of coronavirus patients. So you get in the hospital, you're on a ventilator, right? You don't just one day, they don't just go, oh, you're good to go. Discharge, have a great life. No, you've been laying on your back in a bed for a month. You got to do some physical therapy. You got to go to an assisted living facility or one of those healthcare provide. They're not all assisted living, but a skilled provider to get you back on your feet again, right? So they took people that were from COVID wards in the hospitals, exposed to coronavirus, and put them in assisted living facilities with elderly people who had compromised health conditions already, who were already weak, to get their rehabilitation too. And the nursing homes didn't have a choice. You don't take them, you don't get your state funding. You do take them, and you're introducing COVID to your facility, and people die. And obviously, young people are not in assisted living facilities. So I guess that's going to skew the numbers a little bit, isn't it? So there's all kinds of craziness going on. Then I read a story this morning, like Arizona, I heard, oh my gosh, they're ordering refrigerated trucks because the morgues are full. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Maybe this thing is really starting to get out of hand. Maybe this is something, my employees all have masks. They were all issued company cloth, double filter, double layer masks. They are completely oppressive to wear all day long. They give people headaches, like all masks do if you wear them too much. And our customers don't wear masks. They don't want to wear masks. So some do. Some do come in with masks, but the vast majority of people who come to the service centers don't. I'm not making a value judgment one way or the other. I don't enjoy wearing a mask. I have one in my pocket. If I'm going in somewhere that requires me to wear a mask, I don't throw a hissy fit. I just put the mask on. It's not worth the grief. Just put the mask on. If I'm in a room and everyone's wearing a mask and I'm the only one in the room not wearing a mask, I'm going to take my normal human social cue to fit in, and I'm going to put my mask on. It's not that big of a deal, right? It doesn't change my political affiliation. It doesn't make me more or less intelligent. I'll wear the mask when I feel like there's a need to wear the mask, and I won't when I feel like there's not. If I'm sitting outside by myself at a park, I'm not going to wear a mask. That's stupid. Anyway, but there are people who tell you that you have to. Kansas City, you guys know, you guys have a mandatory mask order. If you leave your house, you have to wear a mask. Driving down the road in your car by yourself with a mask on, woohoo, Well, it comes out today that the story it was an MSNBC story, and it was the mayor of Phoenix, I think, and she was a little misleading in how she presented that. She goes, the morgues are full, we're ordering refrigerated trucks. Okay, half true, like most things, and half not. The morgues are not full, because when the state heard that Phoenix's morgues were full on the news, and they're like, why haven't you said anything? We have assets. We can help you. And then they looked into it, and they're like, the morgues aren't full. What's going on here? Well, we ordered the refrigerated trucks because we're activating our coronavirus surge plan. And part of that surge plan was extra storage for dead bodies that aren't here. But they could get here sometime in the future. And they could, for real. Or they might not, for real. We don't know. So they have the refrigerated trucks. They did order them. They're sitting there on standby, but they are not in use. So the way that the story came out in the media, you made it sound like the morgues were full and people are dropping dead like flies in Phoenix, and they're filling up refrigerated trailers with dead bodies, but that's not what was happening. And so it's one of those things where whether you hear a story that tells you that coronavirus is no worse than the common cold, or you hear a story that says kids can't go back to school because they're all going to die. You know how many kids have died of COVID in the United States? 3. Total. How many kids have died of flu this year? A lot more than 3. I don't know the number, but it's got to be more than 3. I would think. Somebody can look it up for me and post it. I don't know. So anyway, you know what? I've just gotten to the point now where in polite company, what I think doesn't matter. So, you know what? If we're wearing masks today, we're wearing masks today. If we're not wearing masks, we're not wearing masks. If if we're gathering socially, great. If we're not, great. Whatever you do, you're not taking my college football. Ain't happening. NBA, oh my gosh, have you heard about the guys in the NBA? Okay, you're playing your sport in the middle of a pandemic. You are getting paid when so many people are not getting paid. So many people can't want to go to work and they can't. But you are playing a game and you get paid to play a game. And you get to play the game at Disney World. And you get free access to the parks when you're not playing a game. So literally, you can live the life of a child and get paid for it. You play a game, you go work out, you go to Disney World, you ride a roller coaster. Woohoo! And then these guys come out and they're complaining about the food. This food is awful. And they showed a picture of it. Where were these guys when they were showing the pictures of the school lunches the kids were being forced to eat? It didn't look any worse than what you're feeding school kids, but, they're multimillionaire NBA players. You don't like it? Go get your own food. Then, well, we're quarantined here. There's Grubhub, you know, you can have it delivered. There are restaurants on property. You can go there. Go to, they used to call it Downtown Disney. Now it's Disney Springs. Go to Disney Springs. You know, you'll be fine. It's a Disney property. And then they get to their hotel room. And I think it was LeBron was like, this place is a Motel 6. They're putting up the Lakers in the best rooms that they have at Disney World. These are rooms that you would pay for a week, $4,000 to $7,000 to stay in for a week, depending on amenities and what view you had and stuff like that. They are brand new rooms. They have never been occupied before this. And these guys are calling it a Motel 6. I mean, I know you're used to, I get it. You're used to amenities and food. You're used to living the life of kings. And I understand that. I get it. But like everybody else right now, if you can give just a little bit of grace and just be a little bit thankful that you're able to do the thing that you love to do, and you're able to bring joy to people who enjoy watching basketball, and you're able to do that in the middle of a horrible pandemic, can't we just be like happy about something? Does everybody have to be angry about everything all the time now? Oh, it's draining. How do you keep that up? After a while, you're just like, I'm tired of being angry all the time. You got to just run out of energy, right? So anyway, I guess, I haven't talked about the coronavirus thing in a while because it's gotten so political. And so, yeah. So here's the thing. Important stuff about coronavirus that you're going to want to know is that the shortages are just now starting to get serious. Go to Target. Walk around Target and look at the racks. There aren't as many racks as there used to be. There's a lot of empty space in Target. They look like they're getting ready for a remodel. My wife went to the outlet mall. She said, you go to Carter's, try to find like swimsuits and kid clothes and stuff. She's like, it's creepy because all the clothes are summer clothes. And any of you who have kids know that you buy your summer clothes in like the winter or at worst in the spring. And then you buy your winter clothes in the summer. Go to JCPenney. Everything's 80% off. My father-in-law told me, yeah, JCPenney's got everything 80% off. And I'm like, sweet, I need to go to JCPenney. I like to get some new clothes, 80% off. He goes, yeah, if you like wearing last winter's clothes. Like, what do you mean? That's all they have. They didn't get any new inventory. All they have are the clothes that they had when they closed. Like when they shut down, that's all they've got. So, yeah. It's nuts. And then the small businesses. Every single day I'm reading stories about other small businesses closing, which makes me thankful and grateful for you and for sitting here and watching these shows and, choosing to let us work on your computers for you and help your computers do the things that you need them to do. You've got choices. There are other places you can go. And, we try to do our best to make sure we're staying on top of things like the endpoint situation. Now, I don't talk about it too much on the air up until this point because I didn't want to freak anybody out. Because the second I start talking about there might be a problem with your security software, people will freak out. There's no problem with the security software. It's working fine. And it will continue to work exactly as it is now until November 2. And then we're going to have a problem. So wouldn't it be good to deal with the problem now? And that's what we're doing at Schrock. It's one of those things that, I get to do the things that I like to do. For the most part, I'm doing a lot of desk work lately. I don't like that. I'm doing a lot of desk work. I cannot wait until the Des Moines Service Center opens and I'm like, honey, I got to be at work. It's a new service center. I got to make sure everything is good. And she'll say, I got to make sure it's good too. We need to get another sitter for these kids this week. We're going to work. We get to do the things that we love to do. And if we have to do them with a mask on, we'll do them with a mask on. If we have to do it with, social distance, we'll social distance. Now that they've confirmed that this is actually a respiratory disease that is spread through respiratory droplets, you know how nice it was to shake a customer's hand the other day? And the weird awkward hesitation before we did it, where I was like, and he was like, yeah. And then it was like, yeah. And then we will hand sanitizer bath, because the Rona, But it was just nice to have that piece of normalcy back. And I get that. I can do these things because of you guys and all of your referrals and your votes in Best of Omaha and everything like that. So I genuinely appreciate it. All right, so I got to wrap up the program. Time to get home to the fam here, guys, and get some breakfast going for everybody. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I didn't look. Let me look through questions real quick. I didn't look for questions or ask for questions. Last call for questions. Ask them now if you want to. Oh, I can't. I went all the way to the top. Hold on a second. I got to come back down a little bit. Yeah, you can hear the caller. You can hear the caller through the headphones. That's hilarious. All right. Put headphones on the phone. All right. I'll probably stop by when I'm in Des Moines in September to say hi. Yeah, I would love to see you, Thomas. All right. Glad to hear there's still some ethical people and businesses out there. Customers over profit is a good business model. It is. You have to have some profit because otherwise, you go out of business. But if you don't take care of your customer, you can make a lot of profit for a very short amount of time. And that's not what we're here to do. 21 years, that's not what we're here to do. Good morning from the very hot Round Rock, Texas. It's very hot everywhere. All right. Sophos endpoint intercept with EDR. Yep, Charles Hess. That is one of the that's the component of the product we're looking at for consumers right now. So it's pretty tight stuff. Good morning from Grand Island. Good morning, Mark. I also have endpoint on my cell. Yes. Oh, I didn't mention this. Sophos will run on cell phones, Apple and Android. It will run on Linux. It will run on Mac. It'll run on PC. It runs on everything. So that was one of our requirements that eliminated like a lot of the other antivirus products. Some of them have apps like Avast, but it doesn't really do anything for your phone. Because it's only a matter of time until ransomware starts hitting phones, right? I mean, remember a few years ago we said it's only a matter of time until your phone starts getting infected. Now we're at that point where everybody knows you need antivirus on your phone at this point. If you don't have it, you're flying without a net. It's only a matter of time until somebody gets hit and then their phone's getting encrypted, and your phone can access everything, right? It can access banks, your biometric data, the whole bit. If that gets infected, that's going to be a whole new world. It could be happening right now. We wouldn't even know it. All right. Cheryl and Rich in Council Bluffs. Good to have you. Charles, thanks for what you do. Thank you for being here, Charles. I appreciate it. Penny's is closing. Yeah, a lot of places are closing. And that's, where do you go to buy clothes now, right? So Brooks Brothers is bankrupt. Now, clothing businesses do go bankrupt a lot, and then they come back. So that could be part of this. Wilson's Leather is going bankrupt again, a perfect example. A lot of the mall stores are going bankrupt. Who was that I saw said they were only going to pay half their rent? Oh, gosh, I saw it this morning. I don't know who it was. But one major mall anchor said that malls can expect to receive 50% rent from them through like 2021. Like they're going to only pay half rent. How big are you when you can tell your landlord, I'm paying half the rent, and you're going to take it? Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. If I did that, they'd kick me out. All right. Hear the church choir now? Just angels choir behind me at, just a Sunday in Omaha, Nebraska. Like the new format. All right. Please buy a spare laptop power adapter. Buster, I don't need. I have one that works fine. I lent it to my wife, and then I forgot to put it back in my bag when I loaded my car yesterday. Yeah, we do have some things we want to do with the show, though. We're some people want to watch it on YouTube, and some people want to watch it on Facebook. Some people have Google accounts but not Facebook accounts. Some people don't want to watch it on either. They want to watch it on Vimeo or whatever. So we're looking at the possibility of doing some kind of a simulcast that allows us to broadcast to multiple social groups at the same time. The only challenge with that is the comments are not centralized. So when people respond to the content, I have to check multiple sources. And while I'm doing the show, the more things you have me doing, the lower quality everything gets. Basic rule of thumb. All right, guys, going to wrap it up. But Des Moines is coming along nicely. We are going to be doing a grand opening in Des Moines. We've decided that we're going to do free maintenance checkups the entire first month that we're open, which is what we did for the Nebraska grand reopening when they decided that the lockdowns were all done. But we're going to be doing that for the month, primarily as a list build. We want people to come in, to have every reason to come in, so that we can get their computers cleaned up for them, and then start earning their business as a customer going forward for the long term. So that's primarily what we're going to do there. But we're going to do some other fun stuff too. You remember the sale where we upgraded your mechanical hard drive in your old computer to a solid state for just the cost of the solid state? We're going to be doing that sale again. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to be doing, I don't know how long it's going to go on. We're going to do all security software at renewal prices. So for the first month or so, or maybe the first couple weeks that we're open, you'll be able to get Endpoint for $65 new instead of $160, and Secure Updater for $25 instead of $50 in the Des Moines Service Center. We're also going to be doing between 30 and 50% off new computers. A lot of it will depend on what the computer is. The discounts will be deeper on desktops than they are on laptops, because laptops are very difficult to find. I am trying to scrape together enough laptops, guys, just to keep my existing shop supplied. Now we're adding Des Moines, and I'm like, I need 10 more, and they laugh at me. And they're like, 10? I can get you 2. And you're like, oh, I'll take 2. And then I'll take 2 more tomorrow, maybe? And they're like, maybe, we'll talk. And the price goes up tomorrow. So it's nuts. But we've kept all of our prices level, so good news there. So 30 to 50% off new computers. Just amazing deals that we're going to be running. All those deals are going to be specific to the Des Moines Service Center, however. So I have no doubt we'll probably have people from Omaha, from Lincoln metro areas, driving to Des Moines to take advantage of the deals. If you're going to buy a computer and you can save 30 to 50%, you might drive 2 hours to save 50%, honestly. So, like I said, we're going to figure out the details. We don't have all the details put together yet. The other thing is we are going to be doing giveaways at the door. Basically, we've got... we're going to have new bags made, I think. We're going to try to. All the backpacks that we have say Omaha Lincoln Papillion. Can't use those for Des Moines. That's an oversight. Oops. So we got to get new bags made that say Des Moines, which means we got to get rid of the old backpacks. So the Liba Golf Tournament now, 150 backpacks. That's if you go to the Liba Golf Tournament in Lincoln, you're going to get a Schrock backpack to carry all your stuff. So that was free there. There's a sports team for intramurals or something that is staying at the Fairfield. Across from our Papillion Service Center, 60 of them. Guess what? They all get the backpacks to carry all their stuff around in. So we're getting rid of them, moving them out. We only got about 150 left now. But we also got new Schrock pens. Between you, me, and the wall, we saved 4 cents a pen in the last order that we put in, but the inserts were garbage. Like, the Schrock pens are famous for being amazing writing instruments. Like, they're just a basic click-click pen. They're nothing super fancy, but they're smooth and they write. And this last batch that we got was not smooth. They had, like, you'd be writing and then, like, I don't know if there was, like, an air bubble in the ink or what it was, but it would just stop for a second and then it would start again. And after you got them rolling a little bit, they work. So literally we're sitting there with all the, like a giant fistful of pens, and we're moving back and forth across a piece of paper to get them like pre-inked so that when customers pick them up and use them, they work, you know, so they don't have to like draw circles and stuff trying to get the ink running. So we switched back to the ones that were slightly more expensive. So the new pens, the new Schrock pens will be the Bic inserts again, which is what was so awesome about the last ones. We're also picked up these little 2-ounce bottles of hand sanitizer, seemed appropriate, branded with Schrock logos. We're going to throw those in the bag. But yeah, so there's going to be some offers. We're also going to have some Schrock interactive offers for website design and development. We have a chatbot offer going on right now. If you have a website and you want us to install a chatbot on your website, we will do so for free, which is pretty cool. You don't have to move hosting to us. You don't have to give us any money at all. We'll install the chatbot for free, and you can see if chatting actually makes your customers more likely to engage with you. We have been very surprised at Schrock about how often our customers want to chat rather than call or email. It's been a huge tool. We get 5 or 6 chats a day now, which I know it doesn't sound, 5 or 6 a day. Ooh, booga, booga, booga. 5 or 6 chats a day where customers want to ask us about buying a computer. Booga, 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 $1,000 chat. So 5 or 6 a day is a big deal, right? These customers were looking at our website. They were looking at our website before, but they had to make the conscious effort to go to a different page from what they were looking at and get a phone number and then pick up another device and call us or send an email and wait. But with the chat is an immediate response, and it's a completely different ballgame. So if you have a business and you're not using chat on your website right now, let us install it for free. It's one of the things that we're doing to help out small businesses right now. It's all about service, guys. Coronavirus has killed customer service everywhere. If you are a business that offers award-winning service, you're gonna survive. You're gonna thrive in this thing. That was one of the things, I forget who said it. I think it was Mark Cuban, the guy from Shark Tank. He said, everyone's talking about the awfulness of COVID and coronavirus and how it's killing all these businesses and livelihoods and people. It's just it's a terrible, terrible shame, and it is. But he said nobody's talking about the opportunity because it's taboo to talk about opportunity in a tragedy. But there's opportunity. The businesses, the hustlers that move, not hustlers like, ooh, I'm going to hustle you, but hustlers like the people that get the job done. Those are the people that are going to thrive through this. And I was like, that guy's absolutely right. I want to be one of the people that gets the job done. I want to be one of the people that finds a way to get the job done despite the hardships. And hopefully, as a result of that, when we come out of this on the other end, because at some point this is going to end, right? One way or the other, it's going to end. When it ends, and we're still standing and some of our competitors might not be, it will just be one more thing that I'll be able to tell my grandkids, oh, gee, Granddaddy, did you survive the great pandemic? Back in my day, we had to wear a face mask just to go to the park and play. Couldn't swing on swing without a face mask on. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. We'll talk to you all next weekend. Have a wonderful week. Be that hustler. We'll talk to you soon.